FBI probes possible connections between extremist groups at heart of Capitol violence. The FBI investigation of the Capitol riots has begun to zero in on potentially key figures in the chaos, including some self-styled militia members who in some videos and photos appear to be planning on or urging further violence. Though no one has been charged with leading or directing the violence, investigators are working to find out whether certain individuals helped coordinate aspects of the attack before and during the chaos, or were merely opportunistic instigators. That would have been a couple of individuals, and this wasn't. Well, firstly, they talking about coordinated attacks here. Okay, they're talking about violence. They're talking about riots. They've taken this story too far, I think. And the Washington Post. This is now what, 2 weeks later, maybe 3 weeks even later. I don't know. I lost a bit of time somewhere. But they've taken this and they've turned it into something that is going to divide the American population forever. And it's going to be fathers and sons and daughters and mothers and grandfathers and grandfathers. This is not going to be a white or a black thing. This is going to be a what are your beliefs and what is your belief structure? And I'm not talking religion, because you will find that there will be so we've categorized people. So basically we've come to the conclusion that the majority of Democrats are more educated. This is what the news basically indicates. And if you go back on CNN and if you go and look at comments made by John Lennon on the Don Lennon show, then you'll see that they look down on Trump supporters and they say they're uneducated. So in other words, we're looking at the Democrats who are educated, the MAGA supporters who are uneducated people.
That Donald Trump couldn't find Ukraine on a map if you had the letter U and a picture of an actual physical crane next to it. He knows that this is, an administration defined by ignorance of the world. And so that's partly him playing to their base and playing to their audience, the credulous boomer Rube demo that backs Donald Trump, that wants to think that Donald Trump's the smart one and y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling, even though
your math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading, your geography, knowing other countries, sipping your latte.
All those lines on the map.
Only them elitists know where Ukraine is. Sorry, I apologize.
But by the way, oh my God!
But you know what? But it was Rick's fault. I blame Rick. But in all honesty,
blame
you know what
Rick.
NPR should
Why
do?
not? Sorry, hold on. Wait.
Can I tell you
give me
what?
a second. Hold on. Sorry. That was good. Sorry, Rick. That was a good one. I needed that. Okay, so listen. Let's get back to business here.
Now that is something that for people who fight against all this, putting people in little boxes, they do it fairly well. It's in nearly 2 weeks since the assault, the Justice Department has charged more than 100 people, mostly individuals who revealed themselves as participating in the January 6th riot through social media posts. Now that's just stupid. So they got caught because they were talking crap about it on social media, and they were probably exaggerating what they were saying, and because of the sensationalism. I mean, come on, guys, seriously. The guys are going to go out and make a bigger scene out of what they did than yeah, I threw a little rock, I mean, a sand grain or something. They took and threw it at the window, and then, you know, they say they threw a rock at the building or window or whatever. You know how people are, sensationalists. But the weekend arrests of people with alleged ties to extremist groups reflect the FBI's increasing attention to the more prepared, organized and determined groups among the larger mass of rioters. Now, guess whose name is first on that list? Yes, the Proud Boys, who are far right, and their leader, I think, is he just Miami's leader or that area, or is he the leader of the whole group of the Proud Boys? Now, the Proud Boys is a very interesting group because it's they've got this one guy in the group called Tiny who tells the story about when he actually went to a rally and planning on beating the crap out of all these right-wing, far-right racists that is marching for Trump. And when he got there, everybody was like nice and spoke to him and welcomed him there, even though because he was neutral. He wasn't a pro-Trump, but he wasn't anti-Trump. He wasn't a crazy person. He went to go and see what's there, and you know, if a fight came along, then he would jump in and fight. The original people of America, he's one of them, I think. Okay. So, and Tiny is obviously not tiny. Tiny's a big dude. So he's a great asset to the Proud Boys, because I think Antifa guys crap their pants when they look at this dude. He's huge. So, but anyway, so with this whole story that it's a white supremacist group, nobody actually goes and looks at who is in the groups. Now, the fact that they now be called a terrorist organization, and they have been called a terrorist organization at some stage, and Kevin McGuinness, if he didn't denounce the Proud Boys, he was going to get locked up or something as well, because he was the leader at that stage, or the spokesperson. How this group started was a bunch of guys screwing around saying, why don't we start this group?
I started a men's club called the Proud Boys, and we have one caveat, and that is you have to be a Western chauvinist. Now, liberals are lazy, so they hear the word chauvinist and they assume male chauvinist, and that's why I use that word, because they're too lazy to look it up, and it just means a nationalist, a patriot. And you have to think the West is the best. And it exploded. There's thousands of members all over the world. There's Proud Boys Africa, there's Proud Boys Japan, we've got about 5 different divisions in Australia, and I just made it up. Like we're called Proud Boys because I went to one of my kids' music recitals, and some ponce got up there, and while everyone's playing the piano and the violin and doing stuff they tried, he gets up and he goes, "Proud of your boy, I'll make."
Okay. Declare I'm a Proud Boy. I am a Proud Boy. All right. I am a Western chauvinist. I am a Western chauvinist. And I refuse to apologize. For creating the modern world. Gentlemen. 3, 2, 1.
Great nuts. 1. Cheerios. 2. Frosted Flakes. 3. Cocoa Puffs. 4.
Go to the ground!
I like it.
By the way, when he goes to the ground, you're allowed to elbow.
Yeah, drums out. Fucking Macho Man off there.
We need a turnbuckle if anyone has one.
So there's this whole thing about how they get to be in this group, and all that this was for was Gavin McGuinness and a lot of other people are seeing that there's attack on men, and that doesn't matter what color of person you are, what ethnicity, or what your political views are. in dead honesty, there is an attack on men, and they are trying to change that narrative. They are trying to say that it's okay to be a guy. It's okay to be a little bit rough around the edges, which is why they attach themselves to Trump, because Trump is what you would see as a real man, not the fact that he sleeps around and stuff, but he represents a strong figure, a strong male figure, who likes his sport, who eats tomato sauce on his steak in a fancy restaurant, you know, who eats a hamburger with his hands, you know, the normal guy. Now, I think that's why this resonates, is the stuff that Donald Trump does isn't, even though he's rich, it doesn't really, he does stuff that the middle class and poor class people will do. But somebody that is very educated, like a liberal, obviously will not go into a restaurant and eat a cheeseburger. They won't even eat a cheeseburger, they'll probably fucking eat some soya meat or something like that, patty. So this Proud Boys thing is very interesting. The origins of them. And it's sprawled into the Proud Boys. They have a group called the Proud Boys Moms and the Proud Boys Wives, or something like that. So this group is sprawled into, I wouldn't say a dangerous group, but it's turned into a dangerous group for the left, because they've created a group of men and women and mothers that are really, really, really tired of the bullshit that the liberals and the liberal media and the leftists are feeding the rest of the world about how bad men are. Anybody can join. That's the thing. But the majority of people that will be joining is guys that are looking for other men like them, which is obviously men that have been punched before or have punched somebody before. You know, probably guys who like sitting, drinking a beer in a bar and talking crap, watching sports, you know, those kinds of things. Things normal people do. One of those newly charged was Robert Giswin, 24, of Woodland Park, Colo. I don't know where that is. Charging documents and videos indicate he may have links to the 3 extremist groups that have drawn the most attention from the FBI: the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, and 3%ers. Now, Proud Boys, I know it's not a extremist group. 3%ers sounds like a gang. Oath Keepers, no, you know, that could be some religious cult or something like that. I don't know. But I don't know the other groups. I know the Proud Boys because I used to like Gavin McGuinness's show until he went into a depression and joined Red Eyes TV, not Red Eyes TV. Anyway, some other TV show. Became a little bit disappointed when the guys, I'm not allowed to say who they are, but when they fired him because of something that other people did that was in the same group that he started, which is stupid. In court papers, FBI agents say Giswin, charged with assaulting police, civil disorder and obstruction of police and government, runs a private paramilitary training group and is affiliated with the 3%ers. That doesn't make sense, what they're saying there. He runs a private paramilitary training group and is affiliated with the 3%ers. So I get that. He's affiliated with the 3%ers. How's he affiliated with them? Is he part of the 3%ers? Does he have an uncle whose uncle is a part of the 3%ers and he's linked to them via that family? Private paramilitary training group. What is that? I'm not sure what that means. Okay, so private paramilitary, okay, I get that's like private security, or non-governmental militia, or it's a militia type of thing, I think, would it be? But it's a training group, so they don't do anything. So what are you doing for a job? They're not saying there. This is quite interesting. The FBI said in court filings, the JoBluemann was apparently recorded multiple times inside and outside the Capitol on Jan 6, decked out in military garb with two distinctive markings that made it easier for investigators to trace his actions that day. A patch for his paramilitary group, the Woodland Wild Dogs, so I can go and Google that and find out what that is, because that seems to answer my top question. And a black pouch on his chest that said, "My mom thinks I'm special," evocative of Proud Boys anthem, "Proud of Your Boy." So this is this dangerous group. Their patch says, "My mom thinks I'm special." Yes, guys, you're not reading wrong, or you're not misunderstanding. The patch actually says that my mom thinks I'm special, which tells you it's a play on words, it's a fun club to be in, those kinds of things. And these guys are just going out there and slamming these Proud Boys. Someone who appears to match the description of JoBluemann laid out in FBI arrest affidavits shows up on a live streamed Proud Boys video from about 11:14 to 12:55 that day. About 50 minutes into the video, viewed by the Washington Post, one member in the group with people in blaze or orange hats, camouflage backpacks and military style vests yells, "Let's take the effing Capitol." Someone else then admonishes I don't know what that word is. Admonishes. "Let's not effing yell that." The group in the video. Sorry, I do find that funny. So the one guy says, "Let's do it." The other guy says, "Let's not put it that way. Let's not put it on camera, because it's going to be taken out of context." That's probably why, because when you shout something like this, okay, it can be a lot. It can be misconstrued, and it could be that they want to take it by force. It could be that. Let's be very clear. It could have been the intent, but the intent could have been that they just wanted to take back the Capitol through protest, through giving out flyers, and as a slogan. It might have just been a slogan. So. Or it might have just been a drunk guy sort of shouting stuff because he's drunk. The group in the video waits in the Capitol until 12:48 p.m. to link up with milling supporters of President Trump, who have made their way to the west front of the Capitol after the president's speech at the Ellipse and live stream shows. Once there, the Proud Boys group surges forward, toppling barricades and charging up the steps, with a Proud Boys narrator saying, "We're storming the Capitol." Okay, and what else did they say? Or did they just say those two sentences the whole day? So the whole day, of all the footage that they have of the Proud Boys live streamed, the only things that the Proud Boys said, according to this newspaper, is someone screamed, "We are storming the Capitol." It could have been a joke. No, they said that. What was the other thing that they said? Let's effing take the Capitol, and then let's not effing yell that. So they had three things that they said the whole day. All of the Proud Boys people that were there. Yeah. Then that's partisan news for you. Washington Post, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. You're giving people what they want to read. Then about 2:13 p.m., according to FBI affidavits, Giswin appears in a different video with a helmeted group breaking a window on the Senate side of the Capitol using a riot shield and a piece of lumber, one of the earliest breaches of the building. Okay, but that was just stupid. I mean, look, I'm telling you now, I don't like the fact that they did what they did. They shouldn't have done it. 5 people died. The police wasn't right, but the rioters weren't right either. But what do you do if nobody's taking your word? If nobody is hearing what you're saying and you're frustrated? But some other day, I mean, there's the saying that you can only kick a dog so many times before it bites you, and this is exactly what this is about. And there is psychologically there is a thing called the mob mentality. So in other words, somebody that will maybe not do something when they're alone or on their own. When they get into a group of people who psych them up and do stuff, then they will actually go in and do stuff that they would out of the norm, out of what they would usually do. So I mean, this could be a priest or a pastor or something like that gets into this, gets wind up because of the fact that they're not getting anything done and they've been ripped off with this. Ooh, I almost said that, but anyway. So anybody could go crazy. Efforts to reach Giswin and relatives, including people associated with his address and inoperative web domains he registered in 2019, such as Rocky Mountains, oathkeepers.com and woodlandswilddogs.com, were unsuccessful. Now, why would that be of relevance? Are they trying to tell us something? So he registered these domains. Did these guys actually go and check out with a registrar how badly do you want it? There's nothing, so it's not even up. Let's look at the other one. Let's look at the other domain. I want to see what relevance this has. What relevance does this have? Okay, so these websites aren't live. Okay, the guy can't do website designing, so he obviously just paid for these websites because he wanted to do something. Okay, but I don't get it. Why are they saying this? Efforts to reach Giswin and relatives, including people associated with his address and inoperative web domain he registered in 2019, such as Rocky. I don't get it. What has it got? The charges filed against Giswin on Saturday do not include accusations that he conspired with others to attack Congress, but investigators are still working to better understand his role and interactions with others on the day of the attack and in the run-up to the violence, according to people familiar with the case. Oh yes, if they start with people that are familiar with the situation or people that are close to somebody who is close to this person, then I just feel like crapping my pants. Anyway, let's go for this. According to people familiar with the case who spoke on the condition of anonymity because the investigation is ongoing. Okay, so what have we got here? We got somebody who doesn't want to say who they are because they're probably lying, and they're familiar with it, but it could be somebody's mommy or daddy that heard something from the pastor who said that the auntie in church saw their kids smoking. Is it something like that? Yeah, I think it might be something like that. Somebody that looked like him smoking. Yes. Guys, I just don't get why the leftist media would do this. Why are they creating this division? Why? I mean, I don't get it. Okay, Donald Trump has lost. He's agreed to step down. Why go on about this? Why keep on pushing? I don't get this. I really don't get this. But let's go on. Before the attack, Gisman gave a media interview in which he echoed anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, the affidavit said, and said his message to Congress was that they need to get the corrupt politicians out of the office. Pelosi, the Clintons, every single one of them, Biden, Kamala. Okay, now I can actually probably tell you what he was talking about. He was probably calling, and this is something that is now being called anti-Semitic, but there are a lot of people of a certain religion in certain areas where there are certain problems, and this comes back to the brain functions, and people don't believe that that's true, but there are certain groups of people that are very good at specific type of jobs. Let's say, for instance, banking. Get it? Right. So groups that are in banking and groups that are in charge of all the media and so on, you know, they sort of all fall within this one group of people, and he's talking about that, and there's a lot of conspiracies around that, but you know, there's some merit in it. You know, if you go back, I'm gonna cut this piece out. Definitely cut out that piece. Before the attack, Gisman gave a media interview in which he echoed anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. The affidavit said that before the attack, Gisman gave a media interview in which he echoed anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, the affidavit said, and said his message to Congress was that they need to get the corrupt politicians out of office. Pelosi, the Clintons, every single one of them, Biden, Kamala. On Monday, prosecutors unsealed charges against a Texas man associated with the 3%ers who allegedly threatened to kill his children if they exposed him, and a Peninsula 29-year-old accused of attacking police with a metal barricade. Others also charged in recent days include a heavy metal guitarist from Indiana, people from all walks of life, and 2 self-styled militia members from Iowa. Further signs that the FBI is ratcheting up its investigations of the role extremist organizations played in the storming the building. I wish they would have given the other stuff, the other parties, this much coverage. We're finding out a lot here about the right and the far right and the right wing and the Nazi past people inside of America. John Schaffer, who founded the band Iced Earth, turned himself into the FBI agents in Indianapolis on Sunday afternoon, officials said. On Jan 6, Schaffer was photographed inside the Capitol wearing a hat that said Oath Keepers Lifetime Member. Now, I'm not going to read the affidavits. I'm going to post the link at the bottom and you guys can go read it yourself. Schaffer was charged with 6 crimes, including engaging in an act of physical violence Authorities said Schaffer was among the rioters who targeted Capitol Police with beer spray. Beer spray. Okay, so that is beer. It's not beer, it's beer. Okay. At a pro-Trump march in November alleged by Oath Keepers, the FBI said, Schaffer said, "We're not going to merge into some globalist communist system. It will not happen. There will be a lot of bloodshed if it comes down to that. Trust me." Now, that comment, taken out of context, is, there's a couple of ways that could be read into. It could be him threatening and saying that if it's going to be, they're going to take a stand. Or it could be that he's saying that 50% of Americans don't want that to happen, or the majority of Americans don't want a communist state, a globalist communist state. So yeah, but let's create that narrative and let's push that narrative. What do you say, Washington Post? Also arrested Sunday were Donovan Crowell, 50, a former Marine interviewed by the New Yorker, the Army veteran Jessica Watkins, 38, a bartender. Watkins recently told the Ohio Capital Journal that she formed the Ohio State Regular Militia in 2019, a unit of the Oath Keepers, the FBI said, and that the group has appeared at a dozen rallies to protect people. Look, I don't know these guys, so I don't know what they are for, what they stand for. I'm not really sure. I know the ProudBoys. The other groups I can't really talk about, and it does actually, to be dead honest, it does actually seem that these guys could be a little bit of a problem for the right, or for for conservative people that were, and for MAGA supporters. The FBI said Watkins posted to Parler a photograph of herself in uniform on January 6, writing, "Me before forcing entry into the Capitol building." Okay, so it was planned. That is just stupid. So this was planned. Okay. So she cannot claim that it was the mob mentality, or she had a psychotic break and at that stage just accidentally walked in there. That she can be criminally charged because she committed a crime knowing that it's illegal to do what she did. So by all means, if you're stupid enough to do that, I don't think that's, that they let all the criminals out of jail for COVID because they're scared the criminals are going to die of COVID, but they want to lock up people who smashed the window out of frustration inside of a building, where a bunch of useless people are that are supposed to do their bidding for them because they weren't voted in to do that, and they're not doing anything. I hope that's not dehumanizing people. Did I just dehumanize some Democrats? I hope I didn't. Anyway, Watkins and Crowell were among about 10 people recorded at Capitol wearing combat helmets, ballistic goggles, tactical vests, and Oath Keepers patches, who were shown to move in an organized and practiced fashion and force their way to the front of the crowd outside the Capitol. Okay, FBI affidavit says. So obviously these guys plan to do something, and they plan to go in there, but the intent probably wasn't to kill somebody, and I cannot speak to what the intent was, but alright, they did trespass, so what are they gonna hit them with now? And this is the question that I have. What are they being charged with? Because in actual fact, it's a government building. So the penalty could be, they could actually be charged with terrorism, domestic terrorists, or charged as domestic terrorists because they're part of a group, they moved in a group, they planned it up front, and it's a government building that they attacked. So I think from a legal standpoint, the FBI does have a very good chance or case if they bring charges of terrorism against these guys. And that's bad. That's really bad because there were a lot of people at that rally that were supporting, I think, the values that we all have, and a couple of people can just go and screw up all this. Look, there was 5 people discussed in this article, and all that people will take away from this Washington Post article is that there was a bunch of right-wing, far-right Nazi terrorists that ran to the building and broke stuff, and the Proud Boys are thrown into that mixture because the Proud Boys and this group is not the same. There's no way you can put them in the same group. So I do take offense. I'm not even part of the Proud Boys, but I would take offense if I was thrown into the same sort of group as what are they called? Okay, let's go further. Attorney for Crowell, Watkins and Schaffer could not immediately be identified. The Oath Keepers, the 3%ers and the Proud Boys, a male-chauvinist group with ties to white nationalism, have drawn particular attention from the FBI agents investigating the attack on Congress as they work to determine whether those groups organized or directed the violence to block certification of President-elect Joe Biden's election victory. Officials have said the Proud Boys in particular are an important focus for the FBI. Yes, they will be, because they want to make the Proud Boys out to be this terrorist group, which they are not. And there might be a cross-pollination, if I can call it that, of people that are in multiple of these groups. So I'm saying this, what the Proud Boys stand for originally wasn't a terrorist organization, and I'm sure that they haven't changed anything, and they're still not. The Oath Keepers gained a measure of notoriety last summer when members showed up at Black Lives Matter protests wearing military gear and carrying weapons as a kind of self-declared vigilante force to prevent vandalism. Okay, so they are vigilantes. Okay, we get that. What is a vigilante defined as? Somebody who takes the law into their own hands because of the fact that there is no Before that, they appeared at the 2014 standoff at the Bundy Ranch in Nevada and the protest in Ferguson, Mo. So they have actually just been peacekeepers. A related group, the 3%ers, formed in 2008 and is named after bogus claim that only 3% of the population fought against the British in the American Revolution. The self-described militia group espouses right-wing libertarian ideals and has embraced Trump. The group also has provided security services for various right-wing protests and movements, the FBI said. Okay, so this is a problem because obviously they're gonna have to have security at these places. And I've seen the Proud Boys, how they do the peacekeeping, because they're actually not there. They're peacekeepers. They keep Antifa away from, and the far left away from these normal groups who go and protest. The normal MAGA rallies, the normal protests. The Proud Boys will be there, and they'll mainly try and stop Antifa from antagonizing other people. They even keep the other people at bay sometimes, so they don't go over.
I started a men's club called the Proud Boys, and we have one caveat, and that is you have to be a Western chauvinist. Now, liberals are lazy, so they hear the word chauvinist and they assume male chauvinist, and that's why I use that word, because they're too lazy to look it up, and it just means a nationalist, a patriot. And you have to think the West is the best. And it exploded. There's thousands of members all over the world. There's Proud Boys Africa, there's Proud Boys Japan, we've got about 5 different divisions in Australia, and I just made it up. Like we're called Proud Boys because I went to one of my kids' music recitals and some ponce got up there, and while everyone's playing the piano and the violin and doing stuff they tried, he gets up and he goes, "Proud of your boy, I'll make you proud of your boy."